In order to solve this, you need to kind of hopefully get rid of the fractions by multiplying both sides by the denominators. I'm going to choose the largest of the two denominators. So I'm going to choose this and multiply both sides by it. So when I multiply this side by 6m, good. When I multiply the right side by 6m, I multiply both pieces. Because when I multiply the right side by 6m, both pieces get distributed a 6m. Once that happens, I'm left with 12m equals, now watch this, don't the m's divide out? As well as, doesn't 6/4 reduce to 3/2? So I'm left with 3 times 3, which is 9 over 2. Kind of looks messy there, but you can see that there's a 3 left on top, a 2 on bottom, and a 3 times 3 is 9. All right, on the next piece, hopefully you'll notice the whole 6m disappears with the whole 6m. They divide out, leaving you simply 5. Now, some of you could go and, oh, I could combine those. I know that's 4.5. Combine these and you got some good ideas there. But there's another process to get rid of denominators. It's fairly simple. You do the process over again. See the leftover denominator? Can't you now multiply everything by this leftover denominator of 2? So couldn't I multiply everything now by 2? The leftover denominator. And watch what happens. I have 24m equals, don't the 2's divide out? Leaving me 9. Plus 5 times 2 is 10. Do you see how fractions are gone? It did take 2 steps, but fractions are gone. I now have 24m equals 19. Divide both sides by 24. And I have m equals 19 over 24. Now let's look for restrictions. My restrictions would be 4m equals 0, as well as 6m equals 0. Wouldn't those create restrictions or excluded values? So 4 times what gives you 0? Well, if you simply solve, isn't that 0? If you solve this, isn't that 0? So my excluded values are zeros. These right here are your excluded values. And my answer is fine because it's not 0. So this answer is not extraneous. It works. Now, there is an easier way of doing this problem. I did it using a 2-step process. You could have used a single-step process. Watch this. It's kind of interesting. I'm going to rewrite the problem and watch what we can do. Instead of just multiplying by the biggest denominator, you make the lowest common denominator. So what do 4 and 6 both go into? Lowest number that 4 and 6 both go into is 12. And they have an m, so 12m. If you can tell your lowest common denominator is 12m, watch what happens when you just multiply by 12m. That's the lowest common denominator. That leaves me 24m equals, won't the m's cancel? Won't that cancel, leaving you 3, which is 9. Won't this cancel with this, leaving you a 2. Do you notice something here and here? See how those are identical? See how I did a 2-step problem into a single step? If you are wise up front and know how to find lowest common denominators, you can multiply by that lowest common denominator instead of doing the highest denominator and then doing it again with what's left over. It's your choice. I hope you can get to the point of seeing a lowest common denominator and doing that. But if you can't, just take it one step at a time. The biggest denominator, and if there's something left over, multiply by that new denominator.